Om Shanti, and a very good morning from Aberdeen Hindu Temple in Stonywood. Today is the 3rd of September 2023. The days are becoming shorter. It is darker in the mornings and it goes dark, at least here in Scotland, much earlier than during the summer, which is one of the attractions of Scotland. So the hours of darkness continue. They become longer and longer, and it becomes colder. We get less sunrise, less sunshine, and because it is colder, we tend to retreat to our homes and not to be outside so much. And so it's very easy to feel a bit alone and to have a darker mood and not to have the same zeal of life that you have when the sun is shining and the sky is blue and when everybody's outside and having fun and you just join them to have fun too. So that's one side of it. But then it is also an invitation to maybe put a little light, a little candle on, and just create that light physically and that warmth physically. And then to sit down and start to create that light, that warmth inside the self. Because it is each one's responsibility for their own spiritual progress and for their own spiritual path to pay attention to the self and to nurture the strength, the power that is inside each one of us. Eternally, we are souls, we're beings of light. We are peace, we're love, we're happiness, wisdom, purity, bliss, strength, courage. We have all these attributes. We have all these strengths. And so how much do I really use them? How much do I really pay attention to what is going on inside myself? Am I just looking at others? Am I just looking what they're doing and thinking, oh, they could be a little bit better, or they're weak in this and they're not so good in that? Am I comparing myself with them and saying, well, I'm better, or they are better, or I feel like an imposter, or I feel I'm not strong enough, or I'm weak, or whatever? Is that what is going on inside myself? Or do I actually take the opportunity to look inside myself and not to be careless, but to really scrutinize myself and see what is my dharma, what is my daily timetable? Am I actually applying that, what spiritually I know to be right? Am I actually putting in place all the right things that will support me on my spiritual journey? My sleeping time should be enough. My waking time should be at a time when there is peace around the world. And then when I do that, when I wake up at that time, to become aware of my spiritual essence, I, the soul, not to allow thoughts of yesterday, today, tomorrow to come into my mind, but really to become timeless and to start thinking about who I am eternally, who I am and what am I eternally. Can I actually pay attention to all of that? Can I become self-sufficient and able to do that? Or am I just pleasing myself, thinking that I'm sitting there and meditating, that I'm actually using that time of what we call Amrit Vela? Because Amrit Vela means the time of nectar, the time when I can have the highest connection, the highest link, the highest yoga. And it is at this time when the world is dark, when there is sorrow, when there's pain, when there's illness, that I can do that I can raise myself to that highest awareness. And by doing so, I can achieve transformation in myself. So let me pay attention to this. Let me pay attention to being self-sufficient, careful, responsible, in allowing myself progress, allowing myself to progress in my spiritual life. And it is not that I have to do talks, speak on YouTube or in front of other people, give courses, lead meditations, but it is inside myself that I have to look inside myself. And when I look inside myself, what is it that I see? Do I recognize who I am? Do I recognize the beauty of myself? And can I change and transform the edginess that I have inside, the shortcomings that I have inside? Can I transform that? So not to look at others and not to listen to others, but to understand within myself. So first of all, I don't just need an inclination to be spiritual or to meditate or to like it, but I have to put knowledge into it. I have a fire, but I need to give that fire, that wood, to continue burning and to burn even better. I have to give it the right sort of fuel, the nice, right environment. And so it's the environment in which I live, the environment, the people that I interact with, but also the right ingredients. So what values, what qualities do I express? How are my manners? It is understood that we are living in a time where sometimes manners have not been perfect, and that is because we might be stressed, overloaded, there's too much happening, there are many, many pressures on each one of us. So can I reboot myself? Can I check myself? Can I increase the awareness, and by increasing the awareness, change and transform myself? And whenever those situations come when I tend to be edgy or irritated, can I then remind myself that it is just a reaction, that irritation is just a reaction to what's happening outside. But what have I nurtured inside myself? What beauty have I actually allowed to develop inside myself? And how can I share this with the world? And even my face, if my face is peaceful, if my face is happy, if my face, sometimes we cannot see our face because the face speaks whatever is inside the self. So if I'm irritated, it might have an irritated look that is not intended. So can I actually reboot myself internally and start to harness beauty remind myself of my qualities, remind myself of the goodness that lies within, and the goodness that is not just within myself, but also in others. But that the darkness, the coldness has entered them, and they are just reacting to situations. Let me maintain my dignity at all times, my royalty, my self-sovereignty. What it means is I know myself, I can rule myself. I don't need others to tell me what to do. I don't need others that I compare myself with or I have a competition with. Everything that I should get will come to me in my own time, at the appropriate time. But what I have to do is I have to benefit others. I have to benefit situations, people. I have to uplift them. And it is through my dharma, through my day-to-day activities, how I wake up in the morning, what time I wake up, what I do after I do wake up, my preparation of my food. Is that food godly? Is that food going to make me into a deity? Is that food going to uplift me? And so, how do I interact with people when I meet with them? How do I do things in a way that is peaceful, that is loving? And so, let me work on my own self earnestly and honestly from now to make sure that whatever I do, I can look back and say, yes, that was fine. That was how I was in the past, but look how much I have developed, how much I have changed, and how much benefit I've brought to others. Not as a form of showing how valuable I am, but just as a reflection on my efforts to become aware of who I am, what is going on inside, what are the triggers that set me off, and so to change them and transform them. And it's not by changing the people around me, because the people I interact with are just there to show me what is wrong with me or where it is that I can become divine, where it is that I can change and transform. And so they're showing me the path. And so if I want this path to be smooth, let me listen to myself. Let me listen to the divine. Let me go back into the awareness of I, the soul, the spiritual being, the one whose qualities are of peace, of love, of truth, of wisdom, of purity, of happiness, of bliss. And let me respond to the world in that way. And at this time when things are so difficult, let me raise my focus, attention, my love to the divine. We see the divine as being a soul, just as I or you are. But this soul never has a body, is always complete, is always completely benevolent, loving, uplifting. And at this time of darkness, this Supreme is here to guide us towards developing into angels, into beautiful beings that will uplift the world and will help transformation in the world to occur. So let us go into meditation and let us experience the self. Let us experience the Supreme being, the Supreme Soul, the universal power, the source, the seed, however we want to perceive this being to be. And let us enter that space of peace, of love, of reconciliation. So find a seat, place where you can sit calmly and peacefully. If possible, where there are no distractions. Perhaps switch off your mobile phone or your internet connection for a little while to your watch, so that there are no distractions. There may be sounds, there may be people around you, but just like clouds in the sky, allow them to pass by and allow the sunshine to come to you again. Open your heart. Allow your heart to absorb the peace that is within. Your origin is in a world of peace, in a world of quiet, tranquil harmony, a place where you are weightless, where you are complete, where you have no questions, require no answers, where there is a stage of contentment, of constant internal happiness, where there's no need to take action, where you don't need to perform any actions to sustain yourself. But you're in that awareness of I, the soul, the eternal one, being unlimited, sparkling, powerful. You are in the company of the Supreme, the being of light, the ocean of peace, the ocean of love, the ocean of wisdom, the ocean of knowledge. And you appreciate that in an ocean of love and peace, this love and peace is unlimited. It has no limits, like an ocean. Even though it may come to a shore, sometimes it goes even beyond the shore. It fills any space that is empty. And so, sitting quietly in the awareness of I, the soul, the being of light, knowing that my original nature is peace, my original nature is love, my original nature is wise, of wisdom, of happiness, of purity. Let me sit in this awareness. I'm a soul, I'm a being of light, I'm a being of peace, love, happiness. And I, the soul, am connected in yoga with that supreme soul, supreme being, supreme light, the ocean of love, the ocean of peace, the ocean of happiness, who stays in a place beyond sound, nirvana, bahist, parandam, the soul world, a place of peace and comfort, who is complete, unlimited. And by connecting with that source of light, of peace, of happiness. I'm showered with rays of warmth, light, peace, happiness. I'm unlimited. I'm full. I have nothing lacking, nothing missing, but I'm complete. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world around me. I'm not here to take, but I'm here to give light like a lighthouse, to dispel the darkness, and to bring awareness, understanding into this world. I'm pure, not tarnished by anything that happens, but my purity allows me to connect with my inner qualities, and I'm able to share these qualities with the world. I'm not dependent on what others say, but I understand myself deeply, and I'm able, with knowledge and understanding, to know what is right and what needs to be changed, how to go about things. I don't need to compare myself with others or think about others, as that is something that I cannot change. I cannot change whatever they want to do, how they want to do it. But I can be in the full expression of my spiritual awareness, and that soothing light be a light that brings happiness to others. Like a lighthouse, I know where land is, I know where safety is. I'm guided in the darkness, and I can navigate the rough seas. I can develop trust. I know that there is something beyond the physical world, that there is safety in that. I'm responsible for my own self. Each one of us is responsible for the effort that we make. And so there is no greater happiness than seeing the self progressing and becoming that what we want the self to be, a being of peace, of love, of happiness, to have a cheerful face, cheerful because it reflects the happiness that is experienced inside. So let me look inside. We call this antaryami. It is a face that is turned inside and looks inside and sees who is it that I am. But also in that awareness of spiritual awakening, let me recognize the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Being, the source of love and truth and happiness, that eternal Father, that eternal teacher, guide, that will show me the way on how to become the angel. Because this is the time of becoming angels. As you're sitting here, feel how light you have become. how full of virtues and good manners, qualities, and how you can share them with the world around you. Make that firm promise that from today onwards, whatever interaction you have with others, it will be an interaction based on good wishes and pure feelings. It will be responsible and responsive. It will not be a reaction, but it will be an action to support others and to uplift others. And by doing so, if the awareness is that of bringing benefit, that action will cause happiness, will bring happiness to those around you. So like a flower that opens its petals to the sun, let my soul connect with the Supreme Soul. And in doing so, rays of love, of truth, of cooperation, of upliftment, rays of courage, determination, responsibility, purity, power, peace, love, tolerance, flow onto me, like as if I'm standing under a waterfall, and that water just gently removes away any traces of frustration, negativity, hatred, anger, irritability. And let me recognize that these negative emotions arise when I'm not looking after myself. So my rest, my space, my time for study, my time for reflection, and let my day-to-day activity be such that it is filled with absence of waste, but churnings, reflections that bring benefit, that bring happiness, that are focused, and that are fully useful and necessary for my life. Let me put a full stop to any thoughts that arise that are not connected with my spiritual path, my spiritual awareness, my spiritual progression. Let me bring happiness to everyone that I meet. Let me smile to them. Let me have a face that is going to bring and awaken in them that self-awareness. Because it is whatever I think inside myself that is what I portray to the world. So being careful about my thoughts. Let my thoughts be unlimited. Let my thoughts be thoughts of support and upliftment. Let me not fall into the trap of comparing myself, of seeing others, of doing whatever others say. But let me be a master of the self, a spiritually awakened soul in a human body that is connected in yoga with the Supreme, and therefore gets Srimad, the highest guidance that there is, and as such is able to detach is able to give and benefit, and in doing so, experiences success in everything that I or you do. So, the self not to be careless, to be responsible, and to churn in connection with the Supreme, the highest thoughts and awareness. Good luck. Om Shanti. Have a very good day and a very good effort. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.